When God tell you to move, even if it don't make sense, you got to move. I'm going to tell you a story. So about a year ago, I had this idea to launch a podcast. And at the time, I had been doing a lot of research about the Supremes and listening to their music. And I was like, wow, this is an interesting story. I want to do something here. So out of the blue, I get a text message from a company I used to coach acting with to go to Canada and coach this weekend. And at the time, I really didn't, have it like that. So I was trying to find every reason I could not to go. But a voice told me, just go. So I go. I ended up having, y'all, just enough money to get from the airport to the hotel and eat that night. And that night when I was going to bed, I laid there and I said, God, why did you have me come here? And I don't even know how I'm going to eat tomorrow. And a voice told me, go to sleep. So I go to sleep. Next morning, I wake up with a deposit of $800 out the blue. Wasn't even expecting it. That takes care of that. Now, I coach all Saturday. Sunday morning, 4 a.m., I'm on my way to the airport. I'm coming home to LA. On the way to the airport, I get a notification that the flight is delayed until 7 p.m. It's 4 a.m. I call the airline. I'm like, yo, I need to get home today. Like, what can we do? I was supposed to go originally from Kelowna to Vancouver, LA. They reroute me to go from Kelowna, Canada to Edmonton, Canada, and then to LA. So I take the flight, the 10 a.m. flight to Edmonton. I land in Edmonton. I walk to the gate. I sit at the gate. They cancel that flight too. So now I'm like, God, what's really going on that you don't want me to get home today? Now they have to give us hotel vouchers because the flight was inexplicably canceled. They have to give us hotel vouchers. So they give us 8 options. A voice again said, pick the Hilton. I pick the Hilton. I sit there at the Hilton. We have meal vouchers, so I get a glass of wine and some food. And I'm sitting there, and a woman comes and she sits next to me. And she goes, she starts a conversation. She goes, well, what do you do? What are you working on? And I wasn't going to tell her, but a voice told me to tell her. And I said, I'm working on something about the Supremes. And she said, the singing group? And I said, yeah. And she goes, oh, okay. So the conversation sort of ends. She goes and she sits at the table with her friend. They were all also on the same flight as me that was canceled. After a while, they call me over to the table. And when I get to the table, her friend says to me, so I hear you're working on something about the Supremes. And I said, yeah. And she goes, my daughter takes vocal lessons with one of their daughters, so I'll connect you. Y'all, let me tell you something. God will go ahead of you into places and spaces you can't even imagine. From that, I have launched that podcast. I have interviewed every one of the Supremes with the exception of Diana Ross, but that's coming soon. And that has catapulted me into a space that I never even thought possible. The podcast has become more successful than I thought it was going to be because I only did it as a promise to myself. So I don't know who this is for, y'all. But if you got a hunch, if God is telling you to do something, you have to do it, even if it don't make sense to you. Trust me.